Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new segment that we're going to have in Human Behavioral Lab. It's called Ask the Expert. And we need to decide which expert we're going to have the first time. So I decided to get my business partner in crime, H.Muir. We have done a few presentations together. It's really fun to train with him. And we always have an amazing feedback. So I hope this is the case today. H, you don't like to be going through your long resume, your long career as a training and coach. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. H, welcome.
Thanks, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here. Just a bit about who H is. I'm a facilitator trainer. I've been on my own for about 7 years. I focus on leadership and I work predominantly with teams. And I also do strategy as well. Prior to that, I was in the corporate world. I was head of leadership and development and marketing training at a large beer company. And before that, I was with another large firm that in consumer packaged goods and was in charge of their organizational development and did leadership development and sales and marketing training as well. And that's probably been that takes me back about 20 years.
Oh, it's a long time. Now,
it's a long time.
Everybody asks every time that we do a presentation together, why H? Why you become H? What happened with the rest of the name?
I'm a third, so my father, grandfather, and I all had the same name, and my parents weren't very imaginative, so I got the shortest nickname. So it stands for Homer, and when you're a bald guy and you used to work in beer, H is better than Homer. It spares you the Simpson jokes, the Homer Simpson jokes. So that's where the H comes from.
Okay, H, now you know your expertise. We know what H coming from. So tell us about what is the expertise that you're going to talk us today about it.
I'm going to talk about how to be influential, and specifically I'm going to talk about, certainly this is going to be a two-parter. So the first part is, it's about how to act influential. And so I'll walk through what ACT stands for, which is attraction, how you establish attraction, how you establish credibility, and then the last part of that is tit for tat or reciprocity. And those are three things that we find really help people be influential. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
You're going to be sharing slides with us, so you're in control. The clicker is yours.
Great. Make sure, can you see this? Can you see the slides? How to act influential?
I don't see it yet. You push the share button on the bottom. Only to be clear, we always have a bunch of people running behind us with the technical aspects. So we're really good in our job. At least myself, I'm not really good in tech. So every time that I have a problem with a computer, I get a new one. Here we go. Now I can see your slides.
Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Great.
Okay. So again, this is about how to act influential, and it's really in three parts. The focus of this is about you as the messenger. This isn't about the message and what you're communicating. It is about how do you, as a leader, as a team, a member of a team, or in your job, whether that's a sales position or you're a lawyer or a doctor, how is it that you can be more influential? And what we find are, and when we train this, three things that are keys to that. One is establishing attraction, another credibility, and last is reciprocity. And so today I'm going to talk about attraction and why attraction is so important in being influential. And really the things that drive attraction, and the first thing that actually people will judge you on is warmth. And that's really, when I say warmth, what people are asking is, can I trust this person? It's a really prehistoric feeling, if you will, that, when cavemen came upon other cavemen, that was the first question they had to ask. Can I trust this person? Can I interact with them? Or do I need to fight or flight? And that is still prevalent in today, that when you meet someone for the first time, the first question they ask is, can I trust them? And so that leads us to, from an attraction standpoint, how do I create warmth? If that's the first key, right, in attraction, which attraction drives influence, then how do I establish warmth? And the key to that is understanding your behaviors and what behaviors drive warmth and ultimately trust. And so if you think about your behaviors, they're listed here on the screen. And it starts with facial expression, body language, voice, and then words. They're listed in this particular order for a reason, because this is how people experience you, take you in, right? The first thing that they look at is your facial expression. And so it's critical to know, if I'm going to establish warmth with someone because I want to have influence in that relationship or in this exchange, then how do I do that? The first thing is you need to focus on your facial expression. What's the easiest way to create warmth? Two things. One, smile. Two, have eye contact. And I think those two things seem very simple, but we do neglect them. The other thing is people will judge you within 10 to 12 seconds based on your facial expression and your body language. So it's critical to know, if you're going to work to create warmth, focus on the facial expression. The next is your body language. What should your body language look like when you're with someone that you want to have influence? The key is to be open and relaxed. What does that mean? Well, it means your hands shouldn't be folded in front of you because you're hiding something, and nor should they be behind you where you're protecting yourself when your hands are in front of you and they're crossed. You're hiding something when your hands are behind you. So you want your body language to be relaxed. Next comes your voice. How should your voice sound? Your voice should be calm, relaxed as well. If you are passionate about something, then use that inflection. And last are your words. Now, here's the thing for a lot of us, about a third of us, the way that we're wired, our preference is not to have to use our body language and our facial expression. We have a very consistent facial expression, the consistent body language. So we may not, through those two devices, communicate warmth. That is why it's important to, if you know that you tend to be more introverted or you tend to be less expressive, then it's much more important for you to focus on your words and talk about what the interaction, the situation, the opportunity means to you and how important it is for you. So again, if you're more introverted, if you're less expressive, use your words to communicate the importance of that engagement. So those are listed in order, and I think that's important to realize when you're to be conscious, mindful, if you will, when you're working to establish warmth, that you focus on these in this particular order. The other thing is, in terms of establishing warmth in the relationship, a couple of things. One, showing that you like or care about what the other person likes or cares about. Finding that similarity creates warmth, creates trust. And so talking about things that you notice about them that they like. For instance, if you're in their office and you see pictures of their family, if you see any of their pictures of a sports team or activities that they enjoy, asking about those, talking about how you like them, shows that you're similar, and the similarity creates warmth, and that's part of the attraction. Another thing you can do.
You use the me too. A lot of experts says that when you find someone and you have some commonalities with that person, and you says, oh, you like playing golf, me too. Oh, I would like to learn, me too. You like dogs, me too. Sometimes the best way to find a way to communicate with others is the simple things. Not maybe the high degrees of education are the things that are relatable to each day activities or things that are fun for you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what like and carries the me too. A watch out there, Susan, though, is when you do me too plus one. So you may say, oh, I like to golf, or I like to play tennis. I love dogs too. Let me tell you about my golf game and how it's better than yours. Let me tell you about my dog and how it might be superior to yours. You have to watch that you don't make it competitive, that you keep it neutral, and that you just focus on what you care about.
Do you think the men are more competitive when they're talking about their trophies? It can be as simple as the car that I have, or the dog that I have, or your swing in golf, than women are competitive in this field?
I think it depends on the relationship, right? I think that a lot depends on how secure we are in that moment. and that we're we can try too hard, and we think that by proving ourselves and showing that we're superior, that even if we're not consciously competitive, we're trying too hard. So one-upping is a sure way to damage the potential trust and certainly not create warmth in a relationship. The other thing that is a great way to build attraction and ultimately have influence is to give trust. So as to offer to the other person, if they're going to do something, is to actually and be explicit about it, to say, hey, I trust that you'll get back to me, so just let me know when's good for you. And one of the things, if you think about, I think one of the key moments that you have influence as a parent, when you trust your child, that first time to take the car out, that creates a powerful moment where that child, that 16-year-old kid, feels like, hey, wow, I've earned this. I'm important. They do value me, and they see that I can do that. I think that's a great example of where giving trust gives you influence. I also think it's finding those opportunities, right, is critical, and being aware of the moment to say, what is it that this person is going to do for me, that we're going to do together, and how do I allow them and empower that moment, right? The last one, the EBA, to me is a powerful metaphor. EBA stands for emotional bank account. And the point of that is, if your body language, your facial expression, you can't find common ground, if none of that works, you can still have attraction and work on influence if you have a high emotional bank account with that person. What does that mean? It's a metaphor to talk about the relationship and the level of trust in the relationship. And so if I've made deposits in the other person's emotional bank account, meaning I've done things for them, then it's less important to be conscious of your body language and conscious of finding common ground if the emotional bank account is high. However, if the relationship is new and or the emotional bank account is not high, it might be someone that you're in a competitive field with, it might be someone that is in a different function than you, then it's much more important to focus on the previous things that we've outlined. But I do think I like to use the emotional bank account when I coach people about influences to say, all right, if this is your audience, what is the level of trust you have? What is the emotional bank account that you have with that audience or with that other person? And how can you make deposit in? What can you do to show that you care? That will help build the attraction and ultimately make you more influential.
I think we are on the end of the part one, and I want to let everybody know that H and we're going to be doing our second live webinar on September the 4th, 7 p.m. You can go to humanbehaviorlab.com/webinar and you can register. We're going to be talking about H.
We're going to talk about cultural intelligence. How do you navigate and how do you maximize your impact when you're dealing with people who are from a different culture than you?
Yes, and the good news is we already start having questions related to that. So that shows how important it is. And between the audience, H and we have been doing this presentation about cultural intelligence for a few times, and we found out a huge magazine did an article on the subject. Do you think they stole our material?
I would never accuse them of stealing it. I do think, though, that it's become more and more topical, and it shows that it's relevant. So,
well, we don't have frontiers anymore.
Yeah.
H, thank you very much. It's always so much fun to work with you. Thank you. See you next one.